right, so we're live. Hey, everybody, how's it going? This is Brand BTC speaking, and we're just taking a little quick look into what Bitcoin's doing right now from a price standpoint. It's been a pretty wild bit of news that came out yesterday regarding kind of the new OCC comptroller regulation or guidance around national banks being able to store crypto, specifically Bitcoin in this case. And I think we're beginning to see a real shift in the market coming from that piece of news. We're looking at BitMEX right here. We can see on the 30 minutes back starting really a couple days ago. And then you kind of see these three big boosts of bullishness coming into the charts, and I think that this is a interesting thing to watch. So the market's getting a little crazy, maybe a little heated up. Maybe we're finally starting to see the shift to higher volatility. So let's just dig into a little bit of what people are saying. What are people talking about? Looking at Twitter here, I really liked Hodlnaut's demonstration kind of the Bitcoin price ball, right? So you can see this bit bullish news like the custodianship kind of thing coming with banks. And at first, you don't see the movement. And that's kind of what we saw in the Bitcoin price too. When the announcement first started, you didn't really see the movement in the price. And then all of a sudden, once it starts moving, you see that inertia transferred over from this new market dynamic into the price, and you start seeing it getting realized. Plan B talking about his of course the old stock to flow. Looks like we're well due for this pump up to he's saying implied price of 25K. That'd be a pretty wild price target to happen anytime soon, but we're back. Some technical difficulties. Hey, this is fun though. Pure Richard giving some hot takes. Bitcoin market cap always going up. Bitcoin infrastructure going up. The fundamentals are going up. Price is going sideways. That right there, you see something's got to give, right? Let's see. Parabolic Trav is back in the house. Everyone remembers how he entered the fray right in the craziness of 2017. Let's take a quick back look at the chart here. You're starting to see maybe a little question around whether it wants to go down or up. We're jumping. You can kind of see some, this is a pretty crazy candle right here. So that's where we broke 9,600 at first, and then we've kind of repassed that, and here we are now. Guys, we might hit, we could hit 10K very soon. It doesn't take a lot. I mean, if you look at just the order books here in BitMEX, obviously this is a derivatives. This is not the actual underlying asset, but these are pretty thin order books. It doesn't take a lot of dry powder to actually start moving this. It's pretty crazy. Let's take a look. I know this is a one that we haven't looked at in a while, but looking at r/Bitcoin markets to see what people are talking about in here. We see people talking about oh yeah, I didn't talk about the Visa. Visa's been coming out with a lot of bullish sentiments around Bitcoin recently, talking about Jack Mallers mentioned on the AMA a couple days ago that Zap has some working relationship with Visa crypto side, whatever that looks like. We don't know. I'm sure there's going to be more details, but they're definitely, Visa's paying attention to this space. So there's a lot of interesting news coming out from there. A lot of thought leadership that's starting to build in the Visa company. So that's really cool to watch. A lot of people on here wanting to talk about ETH. I guess people are bullish on ETH too. I don't know why. ETH 2.0 is not even happening anytime soon. Lots of this is bullish takes. Yeah, I mean the price is just, it's been a long time. We've all felt this low volatility. It's fun to kind of have the market move again, especially when you see kind of the rest of the markets moving. It's fun to be able to kind of start to feel a little bit of action in Bitcoin. It's like the proverbial poking it with a stick, asking it to do something. We got U.S. banks put 1% of their assets into Bitcoin. Bitcoin price more than doubles. So that's an interesting take. Okay. Let's see what else we got here. 288K Bitcoin price, but the market cap at about half that of gold. Not sure why so many Bitcoiners have trouble seeing this as a possibility. That's a really good take. Thanks, Max Bitcoin. That's a interesting thought right there. Charlie Shrem price, the first time in 20 years, American using the words inflation and price index in a day-to-day conversations. Yeah, I mean, we had a conversation yesterday talking about the narratives in Bitcoin. And one of the narratives that's really starting to build is coming around this whole idea of, the money printer go burr. And if this is a mainstream narrative that really starts to take hold, people understand the fact that, these unelected officials are controlling the money supply really at their own whim and based on how they view the world. That screams a use case for Bitcoin to have this, deflationary asset that is well priced in and obviously, predictable. It's such a stark contrast, especially in today's world where you just have all this money printing going on. So, really great thread that's starting to happen. It could be a huge driver of kind of a new wave of users into Bitcoin. Let's look at the latest. What are some people saying right now? Meanwhile, we're still sitting at this. Oh, we just jumped up to 96.22. Let's see what we got here. You're starting to see a little bit of battle going on for this 96.22 price point. We'll see what happens. A lot of times you see kind of this. Looks like there's really 3 million in Bitcoin that's kind of being flipped from the buy side to the sell side at any given point. So it looks like a couple of whales maybe just playing around with the price, trying to get their positions in before it, really starts moving. But it looks like that sell side just broke, flipped back to the buy side. It's not quite wanting to move it, but we may check back here in a second and see some movement. We'll see. Yeah, okay. No one cares about BSV. Interesting. What are we seeing? eToro US. Many predicted that now would be the only currency still performing. Okay. Bitcoin's doing great. Don't worry about it. What else do we have? People are tweeting about Bitcoin price. That's clear. No one cares about Beam. No one cares about all these altcoins. Let's look at some takes on Bitcoin. Give it a chance to kind of reload. We're still sitting right here. Let's go back to the daily discussions a little bit. Bitcoin up, stocks down. I didn't realize our stocks down today. Let me take a quick look at the stock market. What's our Dow Jones? What are we seeing here? Ooh, stocks are down today. Dow down 1%. That is pretty good. I mean, well, it's not good for the stock market, but it's good to see Bitcoin kind of taking a different path today. There's been a lot of people trying to lump in saying, Bitcoin is just correlated to the larger stock market. And they have been moving in lockstep quite a bit recently, but this is quite a different break. And, it shows that there's kind of a different market sentiment happening in Bitcoin now. Definitely worth keeping an eye on. I would argue that this price movement in Bitcoin is really, really overdue. So the fact that the Dow's, moving how it is, this really had nothing to do with the Dow. This is all about where Bitcoin should really be right now. Kind of going back to what Plan B said about, if you're going to equate the stock, or you're going to equate the correlation of stock market to Bitcoin now, we'd be looking at a 25K Bitcoin price. So let's see, tons of people wanting to talk about other coins price. Interesting. This over here is trying to say 17K soon. I've said this before, but I think we're at all-time highs by the end of the year. Just be ready for that, guys. What we're seeing right now is we're not quite seeing the big breakout yet, but all of these incremental movements are taking a little bit of that sell side pressure out of the system. I think there's a lot of traders right now who are looking to scalp their 2%, and they're not ready for when this thing starts really moving. And, maybe they're selling when it goes up 2%, and that's adding liquidity into the market. And making it more difficult to maybe go up the next couple percent. But eventually all of those sellers are going to get sold out of the market, and they're going to be sitting with all this dry powder on the side waiting for the dip. And then if the price keeps moving up because there's this fundamental bullishness happening, and there's no dips for them really to buy, eventually that just becomes more fuel that gets added to the fire as the price starts rising and they FOMO back in. So it's definitely an interesting thing to watch out for, and it's a market dynamic that's really playing out right before our eyes. uh, you know, it'll be interesting to see kind of how we move over the next, 48-ish hours, whether this is going to be sustained, whether this is going to flip back. There's a lot of inertia around, kind of a stable price right now. So it's really anyone's guess in terms of where this moves and how quickly it moves. But definitely something exciting to keep an eye on, and stay keeping your eyes on this. For lack of a better way to explain it. I mean, this is just, people are laughing and saying, this is barely any volatility in Bitcoin right now, but I think we can all kind of feel this real shift, this real change, this real opportunity for Bitcoin to really start moving like we know how it will. And you can kind of feel it in your gut. And so it'll be just curious to watch this kind of evolve. And I think with that notion, we're going to go ahead and just let this play for a little bit. You can stay watching, stay tuned in on the price if you want to follow it here, but I'm going to stop talking for a second and let it run. Cool. So it looks like we just saw a little bit of movement right there. An interesting way to kind of watch this develop is when you're watching BitMEX, you got kind of the zero point 0.5 spread that's happening, and most of the thickness of the order book is right there at whatever the price level is, and then immediately you just kind of can see one side of the order book just drop off, and it becomes very thin. And then the question is, will the price actually just eat through those kind of small levels, or will it kind of stay steady right where it was? And then, it may flip the other way. So you saw it just get thin right there. We're jumping up, and then we'll kind of see it thicken back out, and we'll see it play around for a second before it moves again. So let's see what happens here. All right, we're going to do a battle for 96.30. Looks like it's going to flip the other way. There it goes. But it gets caught at 96.25 now, a little bit higher than last time. It's this constant battle, man. Just a constant battle. Let's take a moment too to also pour one out for all of our DCAers who have been, very relentlessly and religiously stacking sats every day, every week, just dollar cost averaging their way in, who are definitely not going to be able to dollar cost average their way in at the same price levels soon. It looks like we're going to be taking off, and I saw Nick Campmine talking about the fact that he's not going to be able to get his DCA order at 9,200 this week. So sorry, man. That's Bitcoin. It just takes off on you, and then you got a DCA in at 96.25, or if maybe it wants to push down lower, you might be able to get a lower price here. See that little 100K right there is holding steady. I could see maybe all of this 4 mil just flip to the buy side if it doesn't move here in a second. But it might just drop out too. It doesn't want to drop out. You can almost like start to see how these trading bots kind of work. There, you got a little bit of time that they got to show there. Oh, there, it pushed through. There you go. Let's watch it again. All right. So we're seeing small movements on either side, nothing too crazy. If we wanted to drop down to, lower time preference, you'll probably see it basically just going, yeah, look at that. Not a lot of movement for the past couple of minutes. So it's really just fighting around what these new supports are and all that kind of, tea leafy chartist kind of stuff that people like to talk about. So uh, we'll go ahead and let it run, and maybe we'll check back in here a little later.